And then we're saying we talk about the animals. All the animals, the winged animals, the hoofed animals, the ones that live in the water. Those are all our relations. We refer to them as clans. It's not saying that we believe we're from a deer or our family was a deer or anything like that, but it's a representation. There's a knowledge there. There's a community responsibility there. If you look at the actions of those clans, sometimes that'll tell a little bit about what your family's going to be doing, what's kind of the responsibility in the community. So as a clan system goes, Patty mentioned earlier that we was a matriarch society. That clan system follows through your mother, through the female line. So whatever your mother was, that's what you're going to be. Whatever your father was, he's that clan, but your relationship is with that, with your mother. And so, we get a lot of knowledge from those wild animals like that, wild animals. The most important aspect is our clanship. So we put our minds together as one to get them things as well. From there we go to and talk about the winds. The winds that stir about the earth. They bring about the seasons of change. They come from to help other. We're all in together. They help other aspects of the realm, the natural order things. So we give our thanks to the winds. From there we go to the waters. And we talk about all the waters on the earth. Now, all that water is it's the blood of Mother Earth. Without water, nothing here would exist. Even ourselves, we're majority of our bodies is made from water. We need clean, fresh water. So there's that connection. And then from there we put our minds and we say thanks to that. And then once we cover all the earthly things. And I say these speeches, there's just kind of a format to follow. And each speaker, according to their ability, is going to talk how they know their experience, their knowledge, their abilities. But this is just a basic format. And so when we get into talking about the earthly things and move to the celestial beings. When we talk about the thunders bring the rain. And we refer to the thunders as our grandfathers. And we know that they bring the rain, and they always come from the west. So we have ceremonies about that. They give thanks to them. We ask that they continue their journey. Without, we also mentioned with the thunders, you also have to keep in mind that there's some times of danger or emergence there that you have to ask that they watch out for. Little children get scared of thunderstorms and lightning and things of that sort. But there's stories for that. It tells them there's a necessity for that lightning. In our creation story, it talks about the serpents, the monsters that live in the earth. Without that lightning, they would come and roam on the earth. And when they roam on the earth, it's just going to create turmoil. So the purpose of that lightning is to keep them in the ground. And that's part of it. So when we put our minds together and think the thunders, mention those things. Then we talk about the sun. We call our eldest brother. He was a great warrior. We call him that eldest warrior because that woman that fell from the sky, that was her brother. We always know that was our eldest brother, the sun. And as he comes and passes through the day, he gives us light to see this beauty of the earth, to give us the vision, but he also gives us warmth. So we turn and put our minds together and thank the sun for our elder brother. After that, we go to our grandmother, the moon. That woman that fell from the sky, see, when she was here on earth, when she passed away, her grandchildren, who we call our Creator, and we call the flint and sapling, the good and evil, the light and dark, that aspect. But when she passed away, in recognition for what she had done, and in some of those disgrunts, conflicts that the two brothers were having, there was events that happened, and they say that she formed the orbit of the moon, and that's why we call her our grandmother. And we know that she keeps track of all of the children. She watches over us, our moon cycles, keeps track of our children, the water, the tides, each times of life cycle, 28-day cycle, 13 moons in a year. So it all kind of keeps going, you know. So we call her our grandmother and we give her thanks and we put our minds together. Then we talk about the stars, all the stars. The stars scattered throughout the earth, the sky world there. Patty had mentioned that story talking about being our ancestors. Well, it makes sense because we call the stars our grandmothers and grandfathers also. The stars are our ancestors in the past. They said that's the footprints of our ancestors. So when we leave this world and we return to the sky world, those paths are where we will go. That's the path we will follow. So we ask, you know, to recognize the stars. We say thank you to those as our grandmothers and grandfathers. From there we talk about there's four spiritual beings from the Creator that assist us. And we recognize them as that, as guiders, as teachers. And we call them, ask them to continue their duties. Our teachings tells us that those duties that they give, that they are doing, they're watching over us. But we also know that they act as our conscience. If you're doing something and you feel it's not right and you change your course of what you're doing, that's the influence of those four beings, that conscious to do good. So we also give them thanks and put them in our mind. And then last but certainly not least, we recognize the Creator. The Creator put all this in place, to put all this together for us to benefit from, but also be a part of as a family. So, of course, then we call Him our Father. So we put our minds together as one, we thank our Father to give us all this creation for our peace and well-being, for the trees and the plants and the water. It's a peace and well-being within you. So that's kind of a basis, a basic infrastructure of our belief system. It's not a religion because it's a way of life. It's something you practice every day. When you get up, we're talking when you wake up and you put your feet down, you're expected to kind of give that thanks. It doesn't have to be a long speech, doesn't have to be, 15, 20 minutes later or anything like that, but just to recognize it. When you look at our ceremonial calendar, fortunately for Haudenosaunee here in Oklahoma, we managed one of the few tribes that have managed to retain our ceremonial calendar. A lot of the tribes in this area in Oklahoma kind of lost that aspect of their culture. This calendar, this is from time immemorial. We can't say when these things started. It's Creator given to us. That's when they started. But our ceremonial calendar follows that same concept. In the springtime, we'll have our sun dance. Our sun dance is for the sun, the thunders, the moon. It's all wrapped up in that ceremony, giving thanks. We have our strawberry dance, the first fruits of the year. So we give thanks to that wealth, that natural plants, that they return or give thanks that they come back. And then we have our blackberry dance. Blackberry dance is more for is a moontime ceremony, so it's a recognition of the moon, our grandmother. And we do that at night. But we use that blackberry as a medicine for that thing. But they're all to give thanks. During our green corn ceremony, because of the time today, this society, we've had to make adjustments. So we still retain these ceremonies, but we kind of put them in during one time. For people that have moved away, when they come back, they can take time off of school, they can take time off of work, and spend a week here, and we'll take care of several ceremonies during what they call green corn ceremony. Our harvest ceremonies in here, that's recognizing the vegetables and things that we've grown over our life sustainers. We have another sun dance there, thanking for the rains and that they'll continue. We have a feast that recognizes our ancestors during that time. There's also time for medicines, for your well-being, your spiritual well-being, to renew them. We play a PC game, which is there to remind us of the conflicts from the good and evil, from the time of creation. So all these things are wrapped into one ceremony, but we're covering all aspects of that phenomenon. Thanksgiving address all those aspects of it. So that, so when we talk about our ways and the things that we do, it's interwoven in our belief system, in our life, and the way we things, the way we approach things. That it's kind of inseparable. And when you talk about environmental education, really it's just a part of it. When we were asked to come here and talk about cultural perceptions and that, I'm just going to share with you the things that we do, things that we think about, believe in. As far as that goes, it's Longhouses, as Seneca County people, or Haudenosaunee, Longhouse people. Now it is kind of I mentioned that the fact that, we believe that the Creator gave us instruction of the environment, the natural world that we're here to. That was a special knowledge we were supposed to have and learn about and share. Kind of like a stewardship, I guess. But all tribes have that concept. They all have that thought. They took what they need, they utilized it. You didn't have wanton waste, because one thing they said, if you waste it, it may not be there next time. That's an abuse. When we collect things, we're not to collect the very first thing we come to. You make an offering to there, ask permission to collect the next thing. That's ensure that something will be there next time, whether it's berries or fruits or what have you. I think all those tribes have that kind of concept. It's a matter of survival as well as just being a part of that cycle, being a part of that circle. You can't take parts out and not have the circle there. So with that in mind, each of the tribes, the 9 tribes here in Ottawa County, all of them with the exception of one nation is from the east, from out east. Modocs come from the west coast, California origin border. But the rest of us are what they would call Northeast Woodland tribes. Now, they all kind of have the same concept. The area, when you came to Oklahoma, a lot of them, it was a whole different atmosphere. They had to adjust, had to make some adjustments, changes. But those concepts, that same concept fit, no matter where you're at in the world, it fit. So they were able to adjust and adapt. Today, the 9 tribes here in Ottawa County all have environmental departments. And to some degree, there's different aspects of where they put their primary focus, but they're all doing something. And that hadn't always been. Tribal nations have been organized since 1937 in Oklahoma, the Reorganization Act. Tribal nations were developed governments. They existed before, but now they're formalized, recognized by the federal government. But it wasn't until about 15 years ago, probably, the tribes here started organizing environmental departments, receiving dedicated federal money to environmental protection. But each of the 9 tribes here in Ottawa County have those things. And they're at different levels of degree what they focus on. A lot of them focus on water. Do a lot of water sampling, water studying. A lot of them do information sharing with the state of Oklahoma as far as the information they gather with the Oklahoma Water Resource Board. There's pretty strong air programs, pretty strong environmental air programs. And a lot of it came out of the necessity of the Superfund site, the Tark Creek Superfund site. I guess that kind of was the foothold to get everybody started, I guess you could say, because there were some major concerns there. And who's going to address your concerns? Washington, you can sit and wait for Washington to do it. You have to do it yourself. So a lot of those tribes, started getting that going as a grassroots. This late 80s, kind of stemmed from that, or the compliment one another. But doing plant sampling, ground sampling, water sampling, even as far as lead sampling for paint and that. They're just all aspects of these environmental departments. And depending on tribal location, kind of drives some of their criteria, what they focus on, what they look at. So if you're more interested in something like that, maybe you have a personal relationship with a particular tribe, don't hesitate to contact them, because more than likely they're going to have an environmental department, not just in Ottawa County, but throughout the state of Oklahoma. Across the nation, a lot of the tribes are dedicating monies to that. They all have concerns, they all have concerns, they all have issues. So it's nothing new. It's just now they're actually getting funding for that. They're getting expertise in those fields to address those issues. And Fresh had brought contact information, but I didn't. Apologize for that. It's kind of a busy, crazy week this past few weeks, but to do that.
That's something we can put on our website.
Yeah, we have contact information for that. There's a lot of, the community action groups, there's a lot of things going on. But it's, all these things, they seem new or they seem, redundant, but it's just something that's interwoven with the tribal people. That's a part of it. We sing those songs, that alligator dance that she likes so well, And we sing those social dance songs. That's a way of saying thank you to the Creator, to those animals. You say alligator, you think of it as alligator in Florida. They say that we're taught that those songs come from the alligator turtle. And alligator turtle, Hopnua, holds a special place in our hearts. Because in our, in creation, it talks about we're on turtle's back. Hopnua is the one that offered his life. So the turtle, that snapping turtle, alligator snapping turtle, is who's holding up this earth. And when he makes an adjustment, when he moves, because we can't sit still very long. When he moves, that's where we get those earthquakes, those tremors, those things like that. Those peaks, those mountains. You look at a turtle's back and you see those peaks and those mountains. Also look at those turtles' back. And you guys can go and you leave and you can check it out if you want. But you look at that turtle's back and those plates around the edge of that turtle's back. There's 28 of them. That's that 28-day cycle of the year. You also look at that turtle's back, you look at the bigger plates. There's 13. That's the 13 moons of the season, the years. So, there's symbolism there. You can find it everywhere. But it's all connected. We're all part of it. You can't look at one without looking at another one and recognizing another. Really, that's pretty good. You think so? And I can't be without singing something because Patty sings, so I gotta sing, right? Now, what I wanted to kind of take you back, I'm sorry she left because I wanted to use one of her props. But the idea of information sharing, that's as old as we are people. That's not an unfamiliar concept. And the thing I want to bring to just solidify that is that there's a song, and I don't know if these of you really realize it or not, but there's a song that's pretty common to everybody, and it's been around for a long time, and it goes to that cradle board. When you think of that cradle board, see, we put our children to that board. It wasn't only to just get the kid out of the way, keep an eye on them, but it was to take care of them and teach them, as she said. But that baby was always with their mother. And if the mother's working in the garden, the baby was here. And whether she was, they wouldn't throw the kid on the ground, they wouldn't throw the baby on the ground. They would hang it from the tree and or a post or something like that. Whatever that baby was, they could be easily accessed. So that baby's there, right? Mother, no gig. She's working. But there's lullabies. There's these songs that they sing all the time to these babies. And that song, there's one of these songs that I'm going to share with you. You probably recognize where it came from. But then when you hear the tune, think of those words of what they're saying. Okay? And you'll see where I'm going with this. The song says, Way-oh, cheese, 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 way-hey-hey-oh. 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 It's talking about that good baby. Well, you recognize that tune, right? In the treetop. You know, when wind blows, the cradle will fall. He never put that together, but that's an Indian concept. That's where that song came from, that lullaby. When a tree broke, that branch would fall, the baby would fall, the cradle would fall. It was this, but sometimes we learn these concepts, we don't even realize we're learning, or we're sharing, or where you're getting that from. But, y'all, thank you for having me out here. And, answer any questions, if you have any questions.
I have one. You talked about stewardship of the earth, and I've always, always heard about, how much more the tribes have been involved in, stewardship traditionally, but with all the greening, push for greening and everything, have there been some new things that are happening as far as a push from the tribes to do something with greening in different areas, like building, that kind of thing, recycling,
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't really say there's, some big new thing.
Which you all already do.
But just maybe even trying ways to provide services like the recycle center in this area. There's a couple of recycle centers. Just in this area alone, there's 2 recycle centers still in both tribes. Joplin has one, of course, and Neosho has one.
Are theirs also tribal?
They're not tribal,
They're-
and then Pittsburgh has one. But the Modocs in Miami have one. And it's recently went in conjunction with the city of Miami, but they existed before that. Married, I guess. And then the Eastern Shawnees are just starting one. It's kind of just a collection place right now, but it's in that process of growing. Water sampling, they're part of the Oklahoma Water Watch, doing Grand Lake and that sort of, and traffic in the market and that those waters for at least 8-9 years now. So I think taking the education of the sciences, putting with those traditional values, they're developing programs, and that's what's happening, really. Being this area, just the dynamics of this area, there's not more Indians than there's other people, but this is where we are. This is where our tribal offices are. This is where our headquarters are. So in a sense, tribal